What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel for another video. So the Canon R7, how do I feel 3 months later? Has the honeymoon ended? Or do I feel stronger than ever about it? I bought the Canon R7 back in August, and when I bought it, I was super excited to be able to shoot high-speed continuous at 30 frames electronic and 15 mechanical. I was used to between 5 and 8 frames on high speed with my EOS R, and I was shooting a lot of sports like baseball and drag racing. So I kind of needed the extra frames because I was missing a lot of shots. But here we are 3 months later, and I've probably shot somewhere near 15 to 20,000 photos with it. So how do I feel about it now? I'll be honest, it took some getting used to. I had to play around with the settings quite a lot to get everything dialed in. It wasn't as simple as just pulling it out of the box and shooting like I did with my other cameras. You know, there are some little just quirks here and there that you have to refine with this camera. And I don't know if that's because Canon needs to update the firmware, or if it was just my camera, or if all of them had the same small little issues. But after I played around with it enough, and compared some of my photos, you know, to those taken with my EOS R, I tweaked some things, and now I have to say, I love this camera even more. And not just for sports. This camera has so much built into it, with the autofocus being inherited from the R3, the vehicle, animal, and human tracking, the quality, just I don't know, everything. I did, however, think at one point that I made a huge mistake, because I'd go out and I'd shoot birds whenever I would have some free time. And I'd use my big old 120 to 400 Sigma. And when I would look back at those shots later in Lightroom, I'd notice that they weren't very sharp. And on my EOS R, that lens is super sharp. So my first thought was it had to be the camera, because, you know, I've tested the hell out of that lens. Turns out that for some reason that lens and the R7 just don't work well together. They're not friends. Maybe because the focal length mixed with the crop softens the photos. I mean, I'm not too sure, but I came to this realization when I decided to use my 70 to 200 on the R7, and those photos were super sharp, even at 2.8. But now that I know that, I played around with it some more. And when I use the 120 to 400, if I zoom in on something that's a decent size, like this military jet, it's sharp. But with birds that are so small and far away, they get soft. So now I know that to get those birds, I need to be closer and try to stay zoomed between 200 and 300 for best results. So, I absolutely love this camera now that I've figured out all the small little tweaks and figured out my lens issues. This camera's great. I use it for just about everything. So far, I've shot a wedding with it, some sports, wildlife, landscapes, vehicles. I haven't gotten around to doing portraits with it yet, but maybe soon. So if you're still on the fence about this camera, I hope by sharing my experience with it, it helps you in making your decision. Yeah, there's some little quirks and tweaks, but in the end, it's totally worth it. You know, it made me that much more comfortable and familiar with my R7 than I probably would have been. So I hope this video has helped some of you, and you're able to take something from this video. That's gonna do it for today. So until the next time, get out and shoot. And I'll see you in the next video. Later.